What's up, guys? Flippin' Steve here, and tonight I'm going to do a video that was a request by one of my very first subscribers and one of the very first members of my Facebook page. So Clarence, this video is going to be for you. You know, shout out to my boy, the C in Comedy. And he asked me if I could do a video on how I increase my eBay sales. You know, when I'm going to flip or sell a card, try to increase my profits, as well as, you know, just selling in general when you have a big competition out there, especially when you're trying to sell a card, you know, like a Luca, a Luca Gem 10, when there's 10,000 of these in population and everybody wants to buy or sell one. You know, why is someone else is selling for 600 bucks and you can only get 500 for yours? So things like that. Also going to talk about the fact that we are really approaching 300 subscribers super fast, which is super awesome. We're going to elbow ourselves right through that 300 subscriber wall. So if you're interested in learning more about the 250 subscriber giveaway, what I'm going to be doing at 300 subscribers, as well as learning how you can increase your sales and your profits on eBay, stick around and I'll be right back to get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back. And before we get into this eBay sales situation and the things I want to talk about, if you didn't already know, I want to talk about the 250 subscriber giveaway. I'm giving away a Bowman 2020 baseball package, which includes 2 blaster boxes, 2 value packs, and 2 jumbo packs. And there is a first, second, and third place winner, and there's different prizes for second and third place. If you need details on that, I will drop a link in the description to the video that'll give you the details. You're gonna have to go back and watch that video and find out how you can get yourself entered to win. You will have to the end of the week, because I plan on doing a video on Friday which will announce the winner. So you'll probably know by Saturday who the winner is going to be. Also, we're approaching 300 subscribers really quickly. I have an idea of kind of what I want to do between that 300 and 350 subscriber mark. So what I want everybody to do is start thinking about a card. You know, if you had $50 to $100 budget right now and you could buy one card, preferably a graded card, but it doesn't have to be a graded card. But if you could buy one card right now, what would it be? And I just want you to think about that and keep it to yourself. But remember, because I'm going to ask you about it later. So, you know, without further ado, you know, drop a like, you know, comment, subscribe if you're new. And now, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. There's a couple things I want to touch on when it comes to selling on eBay and increasing your sales. It's going to be reputation, you know, using the description, pics, shipping, and different perks that you can offer, and, you know, listing tips. I know that's kind of general when I say listing tips, but you'll see when I get there. First thing I want to talk about is reputation, because reputation is everything, as with life. So you want to make sure you got a good feedback build up. If you're new to eBay, you don't want to just come right out of the gate trying to sell expensive cards, because people are going to be a little weary of a low feedback score, even if it's 100%. So if you want to come in and start building up your feedback and your reputation, sell smaller items, even do some buying, you know, of small items, and build up your reputation. People don't normally check your feedback, whether it's a feedback as a buyer or feedback as a seller. I mean, in general, you know, a lot of your really, you know, experienced buyers will check seller feedback, but people just tend to look at that big feedback number in general and look at the percentage on there. So try to get your feedback up a little bit with small sales and small buys before you try to sell a big card that you may not get the amount that you want for it, because, you know, someone may not be willing to gamble on buying off of someone with a low feedback score, even if it's a good percentage. You know, you don't have a high number of feedbacks. Another way to build your reputation is just don't sell bad items. You know, be honest with your listing. If a card has a dinged corner, say it has a dinged corner. Don't say check the scan, unless it obviously shows up in the scan. A lot of times scans are just, you know, they don't show detail. And then someone buys a card that looks good in a scan and they get it home and it looks bad, and it earns you a negative feedback, or it gets you a return or something like that. So just list honestly, you know, give the description of the card. If it has something that doesn't show up in a scan, say that, hey, this card has a small crease, or it has a corner ding. You know, centering shows up in a scan. That's not something you normally have to talk about. And also when you're shipping, make sure you're timely with your shipping. People don't like to wait on their items. You know, if you can put in your description that it takes 3 business days for you to ship, so then you cover yourself. But, you know, don't ship out something a week after somebody buys it. You know, people like to spend their money, and then they like to see what they spend their money on, you know, and it's understandable because a lot of times things are expensive and you want to see what you're buying and you want to have it in your hands. And waiting a long time, especially nowadays with the way the postal service is running, and it's not their fault, but you know, things just get behind. So get things shipped out as quickly as you can. If you sell something in the morning, ship it that afternoon if possible, or the next morning, you know. And make sure you're packaging your items good. You don't want somebody to receive a damaged item. It gets damaged in the mail. You know, make sure you are wrapping your cards and using the right materials to protect the cards and the right envelopes, and you're not overcharging for your shipping. You know, your prices are reasonable. So that's, you know, basic things that can help you build your reputation, and reputation is going to be key. That's going to be the first thing that people tend to look at when they decide whether or not they want to buy from you. Now, the next thing I'm going to get into is a description. So I'm going to go out to the table, grab a few cards, and I'm going to show you how you can boost your sales by adding small little things to your item description. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get into the description, you know, when you're on eBay. And there's 2 different parts of the description. There's going to be the title, which is going to be, I believe, the 80 characters that eBay allows you to use, you know, when listing your item. And this is what's going to show up when people are scrolling a page, an eBay page, and when they do a search. So you're going to utilize as many of these characters as you can. Don't just be simple, you know, with your listing. For example, if you're listing the Luka Prism, you know, you're going to want to put the year 2018, Panini Prism, Luka Doncic, Gem Mint 10, PSA. Those are definite things, but that's not going to take up all your 80 characters. So you could add things, you know, like the card number 280, the team, the Mavericks, because this is stuff that is going to, when people type in a search, it's going to bring up your listing. So you type in the Mavericks, or things like NBA, or, you know, if you think he's an MVP contender, put in things like MVP. Also, list the other grading companies. So you can put a PSA, Gem Mint 10, and if you have some characters left over, just throw in the letters BGS or SGC, because someone could be searching for an SGC 10, or someone could be searching for a BGS 10, and it's going to pull up your PSA listing as well. So that, you know, just as many descriptive words that you can put in there that someone may be typing in, you know, to search this card or even other cards, but it's going to cause your card to come up in their search. Now, you know, some of the other specifics that you're going to want to list, other than, you know, the team and the league and things like that, are, you know, I find it helpful, you know, when I'm selling, you know, some of the top-notch players, or even, you know, guys like Tom Brady. If I put the word GOAT in my listing, a lot of times you'll see GOAT listed in Tom Brady listings, and that will help, you know, bring up, you know, Tom Brady in searches sometime. So throw the GOAT in there when you're talking about players like Jordan, and players like, even like LeBron and Brady, and some of the baseball players that you think are some of the best. Throw that word around in there. Don't be afraid to use it. You know, if a card is a gold card, you know, like this Austin Meadows, you know, throw gold in there. You know, this isn't the base tops, this is the gold. So throw gold in there in your description. Of course, you're going to want to do that because that's going to bring this card a premium, but make sure you put gold in your description. If you're selling a Panini Prism Silver, like this Colin Sexton is a silver, you know, it says it on the PSA case and people are going to see that in the picture, but throw that in your title, throw that in your description paragraph. Make sure people know that this is a silver, and when it, you know, it's going to pop up in the search, you know, when it goes to silver. Now, don't be deceptive, and if you're selling a base, put the word silver in there so that it pops up when people search silvers, because then sometimes it could be misleading, and you know, an inexperienced buyer may accidentally buy your card, and it's all great and fine, and you may have made a sale, but it's going to end up causing you more problems than good. So I wouldn't recommend doing something like that. Also, if a card is serial numbered, like this Albert Pujols rookie card, you know, it's not a parallel, it's not a, a silver or a refractor or anything like that, but as you can see, it is serial numbered on the front out of 1500. So throw the serial number in there. If you can put the actual serial number that it is, as well as what it's serial numbered out of, put that in your description. If it doesn't fit in your title, definitely make sure you put it in your description paragraph that you get. Also, when you're talking about the grade and the grading companies, you know, like I said, make sure you put PSA, BGS, and SGC in your listing, regardless of what you're selling. It's going to pull up, you know, in the search engine every time someone is looking for that graded card. So, say for instance, you're selling an SGC 9.5. You want to make sure you put Mint Plus, because that's their grade that they give out. That's superior to a PSA 9, but not quite a 10. But you can get a premium sale on a 9.5 from SGC because it's considered a Mint Plus, not Mint. So make sure you put Mint Plus in your description for that. You know, pump that grade up for yourself. If you're selling BGS 9.5 Gem Mint and all of your subgrades are 9.5s, like on this LeBron, list it as a true gem. You know, that's another way, that's another sales term that people like to use, and buyers will actually look for that. People would prefer to buy this card with all 9.5 subgrades than they would if one of the subgrades was a 9. You know, the overall grade would still be a 9.5, but people prefer, you know, to have those higher subgrades. So make sure you put true gem in there, and that will also, you know, lure people to buy yours over maybe someone else's. Same thing goes for when you're selling, you know, a Gem Mint 10 that's close to a pristine. I mean, this Steph Curry has 2 10s on it, and this will draw a premium just because it has a 10 on centering, and it'll draw a premium over a 9.5, you know, with all 9.5s, or a 9.5 with a 9 in it. This is actually a crossover candidate, so this will probably be going to PSA. You know, that's another thing. People might buy this because they think that they can cross it over to PSA. So make sure you put your subgrades in there. A lot of times it's something that's really, really important. You know, also with BGS, if you happen to get the 10, the all elusive 10 in BGS, that's a pristine. Make sure you're listing that as pristine. Now, I'm not sure many people search the word as pristine. There's just not many of them out there. BGS doesn't give out many of these, but this card will tend to draw a premium over a PSA 10 because there's not many of these in circulation when it comes to BGS. Very stingy on their pristine grades. So make sure you're listing that pristine in there. Even if you want to throw the word gem in there, you know, so that when people do a search for gem mints, they still get your card, but they'll see that this is a pristine. Again, when listing BGS, if you have an auto, like this Andy Dalton, make sure you're listing your autograph grade. You know, an autograph with a 10 on it is going to draw a premium over an autograph with a 9. Regardless of, you know, if both cards are a 9.5, then you're looking at, you know, the next thing they're going to look at is the auto. Is the auto graded a 10 or not? And a lot of times people will like to buy BGS cards over PSA cards with autographs on them because you don't see a lot of PSA graded cards that have the autograph grade on there. BGS, you tend to find a lot more of those. So make sure you don't leave that out when you're listing an autograph card. Also, when selling graded, make sure you put in the pop report. If a card, you know, do your research, look up the pop report on a card and list that in your description. A lot of people won't take the time to do that themselves, or they won't even know. And like, say for instance, this Jason Tatum has a pop report of 9 last time that I checked. You know, I would put that in my listing. There's only 9 PSA Gem Mint 10s in circulation for this card. And, you know, a collector that collects rarity will look at that and be like, that's a card that I want to buy. You know, only a population of 9. So make sure you're putting your pop reports and such in there. So subgrades, you know, pop reports, make sure you're listing all the grading companies, you know, just to pull that stuff up in there to help out with the search engine, and to also help out, you know, or to persuade a buyer to buy your item because it's more rare than, say, someone else's. Okay, next thing, and this is probably the most important part of your description, is going to be your picture. And, you know you're selling a graded card and it's in a slab and people can see what it is, but aesthetics is always so important. You know, how many of us love these shiny cards like this and like this? You know, we just like them because of the way they look. I mean, why do you think Prism Silvers are so popular? They're not super rare. A lot of cards are more rare than them, but people just love that shininess. So you want to make sure you're getting good pictures because, you know, looks can kill. I mean, and I mean that in a bad way, as in if your card just doesn't look good in a picture or a scan. I would recommend getting yourself a picture box. I have a really cheap one that I use. However, it takes really good pictures, and I've sold cards, you know, for more money than people who have been listing as competitors of mine just because I've had better pictures. I have a picture box right here. Here's what it says on the top. I can't really fit it all on the camera. I don't have enough space. But anyway, it's a picture box. You can see how you can hang different curtains. It comes with a bunch of different fabrics that you can hang and take pictures with different backgrounds. And all you do is you plug it in with the USB. It has LED lights in the top, and it'll shine your refractor cards right up nice and good for you. It'll make them look really good. Also, make sure you're taking many different pictures. Definitely make sure you're taking pictures of the backs of cards, especially if you're selling raw. No one wants to buy a raw card when all they can see is a picture of the front. To me, that just means you're trying to hide something on the back. But get pictures from different angles, you know, turn your cards a couple different, you know, degrees and get different angles. Get yourself some of these card stands like I'm using here in the back. You know, put your cards on them, you know, and take your pics. And, you know, you can get a lot better pictures on these card stands than you can, you know, holding it in your hand or putting it on the counter or laying it flat somewhere. Get that little angle on it, get a little light on it, have a nice little background, and you'll be surprised. I'm telling you, and with all honesty, the 20 bucks that I spent on my photo box has paid for itself time and time again already. It's been one of the most valuable things that I've bought as far as, you know, helping my sales. So I can't express that enough. You know, don't you know, be scared to buy or too cheap. And I don't want to say too cheap because some people just might not have the money, but 20 bucks you can get yourself an inexpensive one like that does the job. Mine's nothing fancy, believe me. So yeah, front, back, and angles, and get yourself a photo box. And you know, I can't stress that enough. So now I want to get into shipping. All right, and shipping is going to help your reputation out a lot, because people don't like to get shipping in a white envelope, or, you know, a card that's scratched up. Like these PSA cases and stuff will scratch up. You know, you want to make sure you're shipping in the correct top loaders, and the, you know, you don't want to have a card arrive without a soft sleeve on it. So get the appropriate sleeves. You know, if you're shipping a base raw card, you know, like this Mike Ditka, and this Mike Ditka is a 1 of 1. So that's something else you would put in your description, 1 of 1. And true 1 of 1, not an eBay 1 of 1. An eBay 1 of 1 is another misleading term that people tend to use. But a true 1 of 1, you're going to, you know, if you were to send that card, you're going to want it in a card sleeve, and you're going to want it in a top loader. A basic top loader. You know, if you're selling if you're going to be shipping a thicker base card, say for instance like this jersey card with LeBron and Garnett and Shaq and Kobe and McGrady on the back, people don't want to get that and it just be sitting in a sleeve that it doesn't fit in or anything. So get yourself some 130 points or some, you know, 180 points, and you know, get the right thickness top loaders that you need to send your jersey cards out in. And also get the thick card sleeves. So see, they have the regular penny sleeves, and they also have the thick card sleeves. So make sure you're not just jamming your cards into top loaders and sleeves that they don't fit into. Also, everything that I ship out gets a team bag on it, or a graded card bag on it. Like say for instance, if I was to ship this, it would go into a bag like this, and I would seal it. Now, a lot of people will use tape, and if you're going to use tape, always use like the blue painter's tape like this, I always have a roll of this handy. Like, this is a brand new roll. I still have another roll. Never use packing tape to seal a top loader because it's just a pain in the butt to get off. So if you're going to use tape so that a card doesn't come out of a top loader, make sure you're using this painter's tape right here. However, I prefer to use team bags. It will keep the card from coming out of the top loader, as well as it keeps anything from getting in. You know, like no dust, no liquid, no anything. You know, say for instance an envelope was to get wet, this card would still be, you know, fully protected. You wouldn't have to worry about any damage on the card. Also, everything that I ship, especially when it comes to graded cards, they all get the graded card bag. As you can see, every one of my graded cards has a bag on it. I like to protect them. I don't want the cases getting scratched up. I don't want my cases scratched up in my personal collection. And so I like, you know, I want people to get their cards in quality also. You know, I want to send stuff to people the way that I like to receive it. So, you know, I like my cards protected, so I'm going to assume that other people like their cards protected. So you're going to get a team bag, some sort of extra protection. Like I like to use the bubble wrap bags. You can fit a graded card into one of those with no problem. So the graded card goes into the bubble wrap bag like so. You know, you can buy bubble wrap and just wrap it. However, these aren't very expensive to buy. I get all my supplies off Amazon. A lot of times I'll even throw a raw card, a raw card and its top loader into. And then everything for me also goes into a bubble mailer. This size or the next size up, you know, depending on the size of the card. So make sure you're using your soft sleeves, all your different size top loaders, you know, whatever you need to use, your team bags or your graded card bags like this is in right here. Everything goes in a graded card bag. And then your bubble wrap protection. And then your protected envelope. So make sure you're using all these items when shipping. It will get you good reputation. It will get you good feedback. You look like you care. And you're going to get repeat buyers because they're going to be like, hey, this guy cares about the item that he's sending out. It's a quality seller, and you're going to get repeat buyers, and that's one of the best things that you can do. So since I've talked about, you know, how to build up your reputation, different ways to increase the search in the description, and best ways to use the description, and you know, pictures and good things are good ways to ship. The last thing I want to give you is a couple selling tips, you know, perks that you can offer. So free shipping. And I know that everybody's like, oh, free shipping, that cuts into my profits, but sometimes it's not. And what you can do, and a lot of times you can charge, or you can give free shipping and maybe charge a little bit extra, especially if you have a buy it now price on there. There's many times when I see someone selling an item, you know, for 200 bucks with $3 shipping, and I'll list something for $205 with free shipping, and you'll be surprised how many times my item gets bought, because a lot of buyers, they don't want to deal with the headache of figuring out shipping costs and this, that, and the other. They just want to know how much it costs out the door. You put 205 bucks up there, you know, free shipping, even though they could buy something for 200 bucks and pay $3 shipping, it's going to cost them $2 less. They're not even going to worry about trying to do that math or figure that out. They're going to see that free shipping. They're going to see it in the big green print, and they're going to look at that perk, and they're going to like, you know, they're going to feel like they're getting something free shipping. But in essence, they may not be getting something free. But even if you do want to sell the same price as somebody else, somebody selling something for $200 with $3 shipping, and you want to sell it for $200, give them somebody free shipping. That might be the one thing that might get you a sale over someone else, especially in a competitive market. And offer combined shipping. You know, that'll get people to buy multiple auctions from you. You know, if they buy one item, but then they see 3 other things on your seller's other items list, and they might have an interest in a couple of those items, and the fact that you have combined shipping might get you multiple sales from the same buyer at the same time. Also, I want to touch on returns, and this can go both ways. You can offer returns, and what I like to do is I will offer returns on graded cards. And that's because with a graded card, you know what you're sending, and someone knows what they're getting, and if they're not happy with the sale, you know what you're getting back from them. And you may be like, oh man, I just made a sale, but then I got to give the money back. But you'll always resell that graded card again, especially if it's a good card. So as long as you're getting back, you know, what you originally sold, you should have no problem reselling it. However, when sending raw cards or selling raw cards, I would recommend not offering returns on expensive raw cards. And everybody has their own definition of expensive, so I'll leave that up to you at what you want to, you know, how you want to gauge that. But you got to protect yourself. Sometimes you may have a buyer who may have the same card damaged that they're buying off you raw, and they're going to get yours, say that it's damaged, and want to send you back theirs. So I don't offer, you know, returns on you know, high, you know, expensive, more expensive raw cards. That's just me. You know, I sell honestly, but I know that not all buyers are honest. So I'm not going to get myself burned like that. I would rather just not make a sale or cost myself a feedback. You know, just have someone will buy it that doesn't care about returns. So that would be the buyer that you want to take that card. And a few seller tips that I have is track other sales. And what I mean by that is I don't mean go into the sold, you know, the sold and completed items list and see how much something is selling for. What I mean is look at sales ending soon of a certain card that you may have that you want to sell. And if you see that card about to end and there's a whole lot of bids on it, there's only going to be one winner. So as you know, as that auction is winding down to the end, get an idea of what that card is about to sell for, and then throw yours up there to buy it now. Because a lot of times what's going to happen is there's going to be a loser, multiple losers that don't win that auction, and they're going to wish, oh man, I wish I won another $1, or I wish I bid another $5, you know, and it's too late. Boom, you throw a buy it now up there for around the same price that they just lost it at, and they're going to want to buy yours, whether it's by, you know, rather on impulse or rather on the fact that, you know, they still want what they lost. So that's one way to get your item up there and get like a quick sale. Also, listing. When you list, don't list your cards to end at bad times in the day. You don't want them to list, you know, at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. when everybody's asleep, or, you know, at noon when people are busy or at lunch or people are at work. I find that ending my auctions on the weekends at around 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time, that's the time that I'm on, is a time when you have a lot of eyes on your card, and you're going to have a lot of people going in and a lot of competition and people bidding just because they don't want to lose. So that's going to be the best times to sell your cards. Because quite honestly, when I buy, I look for the stuff ending at 2 a.m. because I know it's going to go cheaper. So as a seller, I'm not going to have my stuff end at 2 a.m. I'm going to have it end, you know, sometime between 7 and 9 after dinner time, but before bedtime on a not so busy night, you know, or like a Saturday or Sunday when people don't have a lot of responsibilities. So, you know, that's all I have. Hopefully this information helps you guys, you know, increase your volume of sales as well as increase your profits. I'm sorry I took up so much of your time, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. And another shout out to my man Clarence from the Facebook page for requesting this video. I hope it helps you out, my man. And guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you comment. Get yourself entered to win that Bowman package, and start thinking about a card you know, that you would like to buy between the $75 to $100 range. You know, just start thinking about it, but keep it a secret. Don't tell anybody. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. So until next time, good luck in your investing, and I will see you later.